Happy Cinco de Mayo, neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome to Nook. Today we're going to look at a Mexican-Scottish hybrid bottle. That sounds weird. We're going to talk a bit about Dewar's Ilegal Smooth. So, pour a tequila, a mezcal, pour something a little more appropriate for Cinco de Mayo, or a Scotch if that's what you have. And we'll talk about this bottle when we come back.
3, 4.
Thanks for staying with me. This probably will be a short review, but I wanted to put something out to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I understand it is a victory of a small Mexican force over the larger French force, but really around here it seems to be a way to celebrate, recognize Mexican culture, often centered around good food or good drink. So today, and as appropriate to the channel, we're going to look at a Scotch. How does that connect to Cinco de Mayo? Well, it is from Dewar's, and what they are doing is they're producing blended Scotch as they have for a long time, but then they're checking out or trying different finishes which they think their spirit aligns with. So this is a partnership with Ilegal, which is a company who produces mezcal, a huge producer of mezcal, as I understand it. And what they've done is they've taken their Dewars, their regular Dewars. It's a blended Scotch, right? So we got malt, we got grain, but they put an age stamp, so nothing younger than 8 years. And then they finish it, probably not for a long time, but in mezcal casks, which is weird, but kind of interesting. Mezcal, I don't know enough about it, but I'll share just briefly a little bit of what I've learned. Whereas tequila is really about getting that essential flavor from the agave plant, I think blue agave, where they steam it, so they extract just that flavor, distill it and whatnot. Mezcal possibly could be older, but mezcal, they can take that agave plant or the green agave plant, and they cut off all the leaves, they get just that pith. Then they make a big hole in the ground, and they put in fire and lava rocks, and they get that nice and hot, and they throw the piths in there, cover it in dirt and roast it for a while, and then bring it up, mash it, and distill those earthen roasted agave plant pith hearts. Sounds really cool. And one day, I've got to go. I've never been. It sounds really cool. Kind of reminds me of, maybe some peat fires drying out barley. Maybe mezcal is like the Isla of tequila. I think I've heard it said before, but I think that would be a genuine disservice to it. I know it's rich in history, varies from community, and like I said, one day I'd love to try more mezcal. But getting back to Scotch, because at least that's something I know. Let's talk about, let's nose it, let's taste it. If you have any Dewar's Scotch, you could taste along and see if the regular Dewar's, see how this might be different. Or, I don't know, if you have any mezcal, pour that. It is Cinco de Mayo. Let's see what we get. This nose is intriguing. It's sweet, almost creamy, but then it definitely has a little bit of smoke, maybe. Yeah, smoke, or almost like if I was blind, I might think it's got a light peat quality to it. And here, it's a little more, when I say peat, yeah, there's light smoke, but it's more like a light vegetable, herbal note, maybe. But pretty good. Let's see how it tastes. Cheers, sláinte. That's an easy sip. I will say I'm not deep into this bottle, but I've had it a couple of times, and I find this surprisingly easy to drink. It's got a little bit of creamy nature. It's got a little bit of malt, a little bit of breadiness, but nice grain, nothing overpowering. And then in that early finish, and it kind of builds a bit as I go through that dram. It's got a little tangy, a tartness, a herbal note, and it's got a little more, smokiness to it. And it's not smoky like barley. It's smoky like something, again, I don't drink any mezcal. So I really should have done that before the review, because I think those flavors must be coming from the Mezcal finish. They're just not an immediate association with Scotch for me. Sometimes it feels almost tart, almost like, oh, we're going like grassy, like a rye, but doesn't have that spice at all. Very creamy, very easy to sipping, fairly sweet. Strong vanilla's in here too. I don't know. You know, this Dewar's 8 Ilegal Smooth is a fantastic deal. I'm sure it's colored. I'm sure it's chill filtered. And it would not be on any self-respecting single malt snob's shelf. But it's on my shelf. I like this. This is decent Scotch, and it's unique. To knock it would say, even though the finish is interesting, it fades into that almost bitterness, vegetable, smoky, whatever it is, that mezcal that I think I'm getting, it kind of stays there. The other thing is, while the first dram is really good, it becomes like the second dram feels less interesting. And so then you're like, maybe the flavors are just very welcoming, very light, very sweet, easy to celebrate, but they're not sustaining. This isn't a reflective Scotch. So I don't want to go too far down the path. It's probably only a 3.5 star, but you know, for the price, for the experience, I think it's pretty cool. And if you still haven't got a drink yet for Cinco de Mayo, maybe this interesting Mexican-Scottish hybrid could be on your list. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys have a great evening and a good week.